Sasquatch, Ghost, Dogman, aliens, demons, shadow people, skinwalkers, even the Fae. Our universe is vast, dark, and wrought with infinite unexplained phenomena. We have tasked ourselves with assisting humanity in finding the keys to unlock the mysteries that abound in and around our world. What we intend to reveal behind the curtain of darkness may very well invoke those fears long tucked away in our memories. We will meet that fear head on as we strive to shine the light of understanding on these phenomena. The goal is to arm you with the power of knowledge to confront and even combat these entities. We welcome you to join us on our quest. We are Midwest Night Watchers.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Piercing the Veil.
Hi, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. As you can see, we're double screened again. StreamYard's been having issues with Android. I haven't had a mic or anything, so we've been doubling up in our shows the last couple times. Seems like it works okay. Everyone's hearing me, and we're
sounding good.
All right.
Everybody needs to switch to Brave browser. It seems to work best with StreamYard. I don't know why or what they're doing, but
yeah, we think it's the Chrome, but we got to figure it out. I'm back up on my tablet again.
Yep. So tonight on Piercing the Veil, we got a special guest. We got Jesus Payan from Breaking Bad, and he has a group that he's named Breaking Bigfoot. So he has a lot of stories going out and doing some Bigfoot researching. But tonight we're going to be talking about the mud flood and possibly getting into Tartaria. So that'll be interesting. So I can't wait to get that started.
Oh, yeah. Going down rabbit holes tonight. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and bring him up, and we'll get this show rolling. Welcome.
Hey.
How's it going?
Hello, everybody.
We've got Jesus on our show.
I am here.
And to let everyone know, yes, you pronounce it
tonight or something.
Yeah, no, I pronounce it in English. Jesus Payan Jr. My last name is a Mayan Indian, and was born on Air Force Base, and speak English when I'm speaking to people that speak English. You know.
Yeah, it makes it easier that way, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Well, nobody can pronounce my husband's name, so I guess you're used to Jesus and Jesus.
Yeah, I get Jesus the whole bunch.
or hey, you're that dude from
Yeah, that show. That show.
You're the Breaking Bad guy.
Yeah, that guy.
More people recognize me as a Gonzo than any other names usually. So it's gotten to where I've gotten used to being called that. So a lot of the fans are just like, Gonzo, what's up, Gonzo? It's good times. It's fun.
Well, we've been kind of talking about mud floods in Tartaria a little bit. We decided to do this show on it, and I know you like talking about it also.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to tell anybody or how you got started in all this, or how you went to Breaking Bigfoot, or into Tartaria and mud floods? And
sure. Okay, so what happened was before I was an actor, which I started acting professionally in 2006, I'd been living the weird. I already had been into, I guess, forbidden history, conspiracies, and the strange and cryptozoology since I was about 4 years old. That was the first time I started reading a book called Mysterious World by Arthur C. Clarke. And inside that book, that was in 1981 when I read that book, and it had a little bit of everything in it, so that kind of started it. And then when I was about 4.5, I was living in England, because I was born on a military base. Yeah, first language I ever knew was the Queen's English, you know.
Hmm.
And we went to Scotland for 2 weeks and hunted for the Loch Ness monster and
Oh,
didn't
cool.
capture, you know.
Wow.
So from the beginning, you know, I'd been really, I guess, you know, exposed to the strange. And then over the years, as I got older, I got really interested in ancient history. Worked at some museums, teaching, and yeah, had more access to ancient history than ever before, and it just got deeper and deeper. The more I found out, the more that I found out was hidden from us, and
Mm-hmm.
the good old Smithsonian um, has been very naughty, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, the more I researched, the more I found out about what the true history of the Americas are and around the world. And that's when I guess the first mud flooding information I ran into would be on YouTube, and that was John Levy or Levi, John Levy, that channel. Great channel. If y'all are out there and you ain't seen it, John Levi, Elvi.
Is he the British guy?
No, that's Martin Linkto. Martin LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think
His
we
channel's
watch him
called
quite a bit.
British Flat Earth British. His and
Yeah.
Martin Link. I can't see his last name. It's Martin L. And he's just a character. That little guy from England. John Levy. He's lives in Arizona, on the edge of like Arizona and New Mexico, and he talks really slow and calm, and everything is gonna be all right. And cool dude though, cool dude. Yeah, those were the first ones when I started hearing about the mud flood, and I started, you know, watching more and more and seeing that a lot of these towns that around that we live around are actually built on top of other towns. And I've lived in a house that had the underground floor where the windows only come up to here outside. You know, you can see outside. I lived in one in the early '80s. And I thought, I was like, why the hell would they build a house like this? You know, it's like, that made no sense to me. But
Right.
now it's looking like that at some point in history, there was some sort of a cataclysm not that long ago, only like 300-ish years ago. Yeah, something happened and everybody got wiped out except for only so many that apparently went underground. And a whole bunch of people lost all of their histories over just a couple generations of who we are, you know, where we came from, what was there before. And there was a bunch of repurposing of all these buildings that are just ridiculously huge, and it just gets deep. But the Bigfoot thing was in 2001, my mom, she got hired at the forest department up here in our mountains, and we moved to the mountains, got a cabin. Up until that point, I had researched Sasquatch, you know, by book. We hadn't had the internet that long. It was only 2001. So, you know, there wasn't MySpace, TikToks, and, you know, any of those things yet, you know? So to me, it was really a crude version of what we got today, but straight information, you know? And me, my mom, my dad, and my sister, she was a police officer in the same town, Ruidoso. And we just got to the cabin, you know, first couple of days there. It was almost evening, and we got out of the vehicle, and then we hear this crazy sound. This sounded like tires screeching almost, but just like for 30 seconds straight, you just hear, I mean, just continually though. Then afterwards, the whole forest shut up. Bugs, birds,
Wow.
just shut up. And we were like, oh my God, what was that? My mom was like, might be Bigfoot. And I was like, nah. And then it did it again. And this time I was like, oh, hell no. And I ran inside, got on the computer and looked at vocalizations. And I found almost like an identical vocalization. And I was like, oh, my, that was it. I needed to, you know, now that I knew that we had actual Sasquatch right there in our mountains, yeah, I was just super stoked about it. And then as the time, you know, passed by, my mom at her the forest farm did get reports of weird things and Bigfoot stuff, and then my sister, their police department would get reports, situations. And since it's not supposed to exist, they can't do investigations on any of those reports. But they're allowed to tell me about it. So I got to hear all the places and all the things that were happening in that locality. And just kept on year after year after year. Just they kept on happening, and not till 2012 did I officially put my foot in the documentary grounds of really using all the knowledge I had gained and learned to actually go quote unquote hunting them, and I ended up getting lots of footage of Bigfoot and pictures of Bigfoot and audio of Bigfoot, and I got video of it walking across a field. I've got pictures of them looking in my tent. I've got juveniles. I mean, so it just was really blatant, in my face, all this stuff. And then the UFO thing's been happening since I was little too. But the ancient history, I've been doing, amateur archaeology out here and into anthropology too. And I've been, finding tons and tons and tons of stone weapons and stone tools out here on a scale that makes no sense for small amounts of people. It's like there was a Home Depot of stone weapons and tools right over here where I'm looking at stuff. But the strange thing is that they range from little tiny stone tools and weapons to 400-pound, 300-pound axe heads and hammers, giant hammers, and just huge. Only giants could wield. So, I started studying more of this, this area, and I found out on this channel called The Archivist with Analog. He has a Twitter account and a YouTube, and he usually does podcasts. I guess like him and another channel, Autodidactic. He's out of Australia. He's really big on the Tartarian, what's going on with the Tartarian histories. And he has a bunch of articles on his YouTube and his Twitter. All he does is look up old articles from 1800s, 1900s of reports in newspapers, giants and ancient cities being found and all kinds of just awesome stuff about the Americas that tie together with all the mud floods. And it's really interesting stuff. So that's how I got into it. I kind of am all over the place, just researching tons of different things. But this is a huge part of our history that we should know about, and it also led me to the channel Mind Unveiled, and they've been doing as of late a lot of stuff on the Cabbage Patch Kids and the orphan trains.
All
that stuff.
Train.
So, man, it goes deep because you got the World Fairs. Oh my, the World Fair.
Yeah, here in Chicago, the very first expo. I mean, they say they made those buildings fast and they were temporary, but yet they're still here. So most of them, the history, science and industry, the history museum.
Wasn't it like 400 acres that was covered with 200 buildings that they said they built in 2 years?
Yeah.
2 years, 200 buildings. And
on a plaster on the outside.
Oh yeah. And the thing is, though, the first automatic electric tool was invented after that. So all there was hand saws, hammers, and stuff like that. So, and think about all the stuff that they carried, and they built water irrigation systems. Is not just building buildings, no, the foundation. They had to build insane stuff that today with our technology, we're working still on building one large building, in 2 years, 3 years, or a road, here and there. And we still aren't finished yet. They were able to do Greek-esque Rome duplicates of everything. And lickety split. The artistry is amazing.
All that intricate stonework and all the details and ornate features on the outside of those buildings, but yet
Yeah.
everywhere else you looked around that time, they had like wooden sidewalks, or dirt roads.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. All the
Mhm.
houses that those people that supposedly built all this stuff were living in shacks,
Right.
and
Horse
we
and
had
buggies.
horse and buggies, yeah,
Yeah.
with wooden wheels and a
Mhm.
little metal strip around them. And we're supposed to
Yep.
believe that they had perfect weather every single day. They never had mud, never had rain. None of the roads were paved. They were all mud roads. Yet they have all these, giant buildings and cathedrals and what now they call, the insane asylums and lots of stuff like that. They had no problems building and raising up bells that were 2,000, 3,000 pound bells, setting them up at the top of these towers,
Mhm.
but
The pipe organs.
oh man, there's so much. With
Yeah,
the
the pipe
cathedrals,
organs in the cathedrals. Yeah.
the cymatic patterns in the windows and
Mhm.
the organs. They're saying that's where they called it. That was because you healed your body and your
Right.
organs when you go into those places, and they would play certain notes. And with those all the windows set up and everything, it's supposed to be like woo, and make you all better. But
Me and
yeah,
And
Jane
why?
talk about that all the time, where you see not even over in Europe, but here in the US, all these big churches, cathedrals,
yep,
that they are structured such a way to bounce off and enhance the
Yep.
music. And we always talk about them being like a healing place at first, where you could heal your
yep.
body, not only your body, but your mind and your soul all at the same time. But then they changed the frequency of the music. So now they don't work like they used to.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well, like there's the it's called the Devil's Tone, I believe.
Yeah.
Where
Mm.
yeah, they have changed a specific octave that they use now in music today. That they used to use in those churches. They used to be was positive and help us,
Right.
and now this other tone invokes certain energies. Yeah. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
the whole man. There's the Hadron Collider.
Oh, yeah.
That's not doing anything good. That it's like, come on now. They got the statue of Shiva in front of it.
Right.
There's
Yep.
Yeah.
their
Well,
logo
what's
six
that
six
tell you right
six.
off the bat?
A little bit. But yeah, their logo 666. That's great. And then they saw. Did you see their ceremony they held?
Yes, I did. Yep. I saw the video.
They ain't even hiding it. Even hiding it. You know what's even scarier is that's not the first Hadron Collider that was ever made.
Mhm.
That one they have is like 4 miles, I think now. It's 4 miles wide, round or whatever. The first one was made by Adolf Hitler. His was 7 miles round because he was trying to
Wow.
open up. He was trying to open up the doorway to let out those entities. Because he was
Wow.
into all that. He was hunting for the Ark of the Covenant. He was looking for all that. So he was into to all that. He didn't think it was crazy stuff. And yeah. So
Yeah,
it
not
all ties together. And that's why I'm all over the place, is because these all tie together. They're all together. And it
Yep.
drives me crazy that we got people out there that are just dead set on just picking one thing and believing one thing. You got the
Mhm.
Bigfoot folk, right? Then you got the UFO folk. Then you got the Bigfoot folk that think he's just a big monkey. Then you got the Bigfoot folk that think that he's all the woo. He's magical. He's got the orbs and stuff happening. Then you got the ghost people that only think ghosts exist. Then you got the flat earthers that only think the flat earth exists. Then you got
Mhm.
and it's like they have no idea that
right.
all these different things, if you got them all and shook all the bullshit away from them and just put the pure facts and information and history together, you'd have the full story. But as
Right.
long as we don't do it together and learn many different things that we may be very uncomfortable believing, um, and avoid our opinions, our feelings, and just go on what's actually researchable, it tells a whole different story. And until then, nobody's going to get it. It's always going to be a mystery and confusing.
Right.
I
Yep.
think
Yeah,
that's just
that is
my
amazing
thought.
though. It is amazing once you open that door and step through, no matter what field it is, like you said, Bigfoot,
Yep.
paranormal, UFO, whatever. How do you not recognize the other stuff? I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah. You got to have
I mean,
blinders on.
at one
Right.
time you didn't believe in what you're searching for, but then you say, "Oh no, I don't believe all this other stuff." Well, how supernatural and how connected does everything have to be for you to actually open up your eyes and see everything?
Right. Well, it's like one of the analogies I use is just because you believe Mack trucks don't exist, if you stand on the highway long enough, you're gonna get hit by one, whether you believe in it or not. You know,
Whether you believe it or not.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean. So people, I've met so many people that call themselves researchers and whatnot, and they say until I can touch it or see it myself, it doesn't exist. You know, and it's like, so even though there's tons of reports and information, if you actually really look, there's so much out there available to us, that you know there's so much evidence that you could go to court and convict Bigfoot for murder. You know what I mean? But yeah, as long as these people don't want to accept it, my job isn't to convince people at all. I don't give a damn if people believe me or not. My kitty's tripping. Yeah, I'm telling what I found out. Just
Just like the
sharing my
mud
research.
flood Tartaria. Once me and Jane, started going down that rabbit hole, we started noticing, as we travel around a little bit, we'll see, well, why does that building have the round header for a window or door, but there's not a door there, and is this a sidewalk or the street up to it? It's like, that doesn't make any sense.
What
Yeah,
got me is the giant doors. And
oh man,
most of these buildings, the first floor is actually the second floor. All these stairs going up, and then
yep,
all these humongous giant doors back in the day. But we're not supposed to believe in giants. That giants actually lived during the Tartaria area. And the
right,
giant books. I mean, the pictures of giant books, and like you said, the giant tools. There's no explanation for it except we had giants during the day.
yep, we did, and that's another thing with those articles I was telling you about that guy looks up. Just here in New Mexico, right? Like, I don't know, 100 miles north of us, me right now. They found two 12-foot skeletons.
Ugh,
Wow.
There's been just giants found everywhere, all over the United States and
yeah.
the South America and around the world. What I'd like people to do is I put a sightings map of Bigfoot. Put that. Get a sightings map of UFO reports, and then get a sighting map of giant skeletons that have been found. Okay,
Mhm.
and you do clear overlays with all of them, put them all together, and the cave systems, and they
Mhm.
all match. They all line
Oh
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it is. There's so much that has been hidden from us, and I've got an idea of what happened, and why they did what they did, and why they lied to us. Yeah, it's not cool. It's not cool at all what they've done, and
Right.
hidden from us, because there's so much amazing things about this realm that we're in, along with all the evil stuff. But beyond that, this is literally a really magical thing we have, and we're being taken advantage of and used in a really screwed up way, when it could be such a amazing place for everyone.
Right.
It's messed up.
And
Yeah,
all the
because
beautiful buildings.
the
Oh,
mud flood in Tartaria, just besides that aspect, there's so many offshoots and rabbit holes, and it just leads you to everything else. And it's like you said, it's all connected. Me and Jane say that all the time. It's just like,
yeah.
you just have to have an open mind and think outside the box a little bit, and all of a sudden all these stuff start merging together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, with my, I told you about the project DOTC project I've created, with the discovery I made here in southern New Mexico. I've discovered a giant ancient stone kingdom city, whatever you want to call it. Just here locally, it's been in front of everybody. Nobody's realized it, but yeah, I mean, this had to have had millions and millions of people at some point here, because it's mountain range size temple.
Oh
Wow.
my.
Like the pyramids, Chichen Itza, that looks like backwoods. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
This is ridiculously huge, and It's over 10. This thing's over 10 miles long. It's over 20 miles
Oh my,
long.
wow.
Enormous. And I've got tons of pictures. I didn't want to like flood you with all that stuff tonight, but if there's we plan for another episode, I've got pictures of all kinds of stuff. And this is the thing I'm getting at, is that all the statues and carvings that I found across these mountains, they're not just Mayan, they're not just Aztec, they're almost every single different culture. I found Hindu, Phoenician, Roman, Egyptian, all kinds of Mesoamerican, Olmec, Toltec. I mean, the list goes on. And I found something I've never heard of or seen, and I've been searching it, So this whole area had a long time ago. I mean, we're talking, a long time ago. There was a lot here, and a lot of people here in different civilizations in this area here alone, not just one. So it's going to change a lot of books and make a lot of people angry. What I found, because this is the same area we recently found in the White Sands National Monument here. They found footprints, ancient footprints, 22-inch long footprints that are dated at 23,000 years ago.
Oh my!
Oh my gosh!
Kind of messes with the whole timeline, with the whole who came from where. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there was a bunch of ancient megafauna prints too. Giant, those are camels, giant iguanas here in New Mexico. Camels and iguanas, giant, sloths, all the big stuff. And in some of the statues I found, they have statues of elephants. And the last elephant was here over 15,000 years ago. And the thing is, the elephants that I found the carvings of aren't mammoths. There's a traditional looking current day elephant that I found. And the other one is a prehistoric elephant that has like a flat bottom mouth part with two tusks sticking out, Then it had two little, like, smaller tusks going out. One of those, statue of that, and that was apparently went extinct over about 20 million years ago. So this area used to have an ancient seabed here, always at the top of the mountains. But I think it wasn't just a big old ancient ocean here. I think it was because of one of the great deluges, because the top of our mountains here, which I didn't think are mountains no more, there's seashells and fish, remnants from prehistoric times. But there's water erosion. This is what I'm trying to figure out, and it really screws me up, is some of these giant statues and carvings that are here on these mountainsides and cliff faces. There's water erosion, but on a massive scale of water erosion. So the last time there was that much water here, if that's the case, and there's, we're not counting the multiple floods that I think happened. Personally, I can't prove that. But from what the historical records tell us, which can't really trust that anymore, really, it's been millions of years since there was that much water. And that would put those civilizations that created all this before that.
Right.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, whatever did happen here, there was a cataclysm. It got covered in mud. That's why I'm mentioning it. Mudslide. It got covered in mud, and it's starting to show through now. Like what I think that whatever this earthquake that happened caused liquefaction. And if you guys are you familiar with liquefaction?
Yes.
Okay, so as you know, when the earth or anything vibrates at a certain resonance, at some point it will liquefy dry dirt. Be like water, right? And so I think that what happened is you had the flood, okay? It covered some type of flood. It covered everything with dirt. And then this earthquake happened, liquefied everything, all the dirt, and anything on these mountains, any cliff face or giant step, whatever you want to call them, that's up and down perpendicular, any dirt that was on those during liquefaction just goes falls down because of gravity, density, whatever. And anything in between. So you have the cliff face, and then you have the angle going down to the next cliff face or step, whatever you want to call it. That dirt just slid all along the side, on the side. So it's still some dirt on there, but anything that was perpendicular just goes straight down, which revealed on our mountains here what looks like just a whole bunch of ridge lines. And they all think that it was water erosion. Oh, that's from when the ocean was here. It made the ridge lines. And now that I've done all the research on these mountains that I've done, I found ridge lines that go this way and this angle and these ones and this angle. And water don't work like that. It don't stay like this for millions of years to do that. Yeah, and so it's there's so much that we don't know. The whole thing with the Tartarian thing, there is actual place Tartaria, and the thing is, the civilization that was around the world, was it the Tartarians, or did they have that much influence on the architecture that everybody was doing it?
Right.
You know what I mean? There's so many different civilizations that had this. And what I think about is, like, in the Americas is, a lot of people are wondering, I hear it on all these videos, like, well, who was it? Who built them? Right? Well, it's like, well, who's been here? Who's been in this thing? All of a sudden, out of nowhere, none of that existed. There was just a bunch of dumb Indians running around with teepees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So at no point have I ever heard once that it's possible that the existing individuals that were still here had anything to do with any of that. They go, oh, it was way before that. It's like,
right.
Now, I think what happened was, like I said, we had many different peoples here, right? And when this cataclysm happened, this last one 300 years ago, whatever, some group knew about it, and they prepared for it, and they hid from it. Hell, they might have even caused it. I don't know. But they planned this crap out, and they knew that after they were able to come back up out of the ground, it was going to be a land grab. And they had to tell whatever stories they had to tell to make it happen and make it able to happen. And then they repopulated all these different places with all the orphan trains and all the babies that they brought out of nowhere. And a lot of these pictures that we're seeing of these times of when they reclaimed all these things, all the streets are empty. And for a good while, there's just kids. It was just kids working everywhere. Just kids.
How did they survive the mud flood and all the grown-ups passed?
Yeah, where'd they go? Yeah, where'd all the parents go? And it was almost, it felt like, this is really, I know I'm really reaching on this one. This is like me just going out there, okay? Speculation on times 10. What if the people that built all this, may they be giants, may they be both, whatever, they knew it was happening and they prepared, as in, imagine if they had set up a bunch of pods, I don't know what you call them, iron lung deals, whatever. Those machines like Michael Jackson used to sleep in, all right? But were set up with cryogenics or children being farmed, tons of them. And if this ever happened on this end of the world situation, it would trigger their release at some point. And there was specific, I don't know who it was. They had nannies waiting or robots. I don't know. But somebody took care of them and delivered them and made sure they got to all these different places and repopulated the place. Because the populations of all these cities, when they first arrived, like San Francisco, only had 4,000 or 8,000 people, and they already had a full city.
Right.
And then in 10 years, it jumped to 50,000 people, and then in 10 more years, but it's the same story across the United States, across the world, the same story, over and over. And go ahead.
As I say, the correlation I see is you go back to the 1800s or earlier, and you see these old postcards and pictures of the Cabbage Patch
Yeah.
Kids, the orphan trains.
Yep.
I mean, and then the pod people. I mean, that's how you get the Cabbage Patch things.
Yep.
Also, the U.S. mail, you could ship a child
Mhm.
through the mail
But you can order them.
early in the days. You could ship an actual baby through the mail.
Yep. And at the World's Fairs, they had the premature incubators, where
Oh,
they had
wow.
premature babies on display. So think about that. Are you by chance? Are you a mom?
Yes.
Okay. So imagine you just had a baby that was premature and it's only like 4 months old. Okay. We are in the freaking 1800s. So we don't have, well, that we know of, we don't have the technologies we do today. What would you
Right.
say if a doctor said, you know what, we're going to have a fair. Is it cool if we use your kid and transport him from that hospital to the one here we're going to show everybody? Yeah. I don't see that happening. And mom's been cool
Right.
with that, And it wasn't just one, it wasn't just two, hundreds of these babies. And I don't know, maybe even more. But the things that they talked about with these incubators was that these babies were grown, one, they grew faster than the normal kids would have grown. They grew larger too. All the things they're describing these babies is nothing normal whatsoever, and where they came from, how they got there, and the literally thousands and thousands of kids just out of nowhere. They're all there,
Right.
ready to go. And then it's a real hard pill to swallow for me.
Mm-hmm.
How that all worked out, and yeah, the whole, like I said, the cloning thing. How do you tie together, because it does go deep, the Cabbage Patch deal. Yeah, I used to have a Cabbage Patch. My sister had one when we were little kids. Like it was the thing to have, come with a little birth certificate and everything. There's a movie called I think it's called The Cabbage Patch. I think that's what it's called. It's a freaky deaky movie, and it's about this place where they grow cabbage babies.
Wow.
Wow.
Like literally, that's what the movie's about. And yeah, it explains exactly what they're doing, and the clones themselves end up growing up and taking care of the other ones, and they're not allowed out of a certain thing. Yeah, it's a trip, man. I'll look up the name for sure so I can share that with you. But if you go to Mind Unveiled, that channel, you will be in Cabbage Patch Kid Orphan Train heaven.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there's nothing called a homunculus that I found just fascinating, that that topic. But that's a whole nother video. But it's all, like I said, it all ties together. And it's scary. It's scary how willing certain human beings in general are willing to change the fate and treat us like cattle. All, you know what I mean? And it breaks my
Right.
heart because being an American, I'm proud as hell being American and everything it stands for. And I hate hearing our own selves hurting ourselves and screwing with ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right.
It sucks, man.
you have all these. We just had a Veterans Day, and we're celebrating veterans, but yet they fought for this country and for our rights and freedoms, but yet we had the people on the inside trying to take them away from us and hide all this stuff from us. I mean, that's what's sad. I mean, and
all the lies.
Oh man. And it was all for greed. That's what pisses me off. It was all just for greed. It didn't need to be done. You know what I mean? It's like
right. Going down the Artoria rabbit hole, and then we went into the other rabbit holes. It makes me realize, oh, well, we were taught Columbus came over and found America. No, it's the fact that these guys were taking over the whole world, and it was more of a treasure hunt. They were finding all the gold and all the relics, and then took over all the giant buildings and the cathedrals. And, every single cathedral is owned by, I'm sorry, a certain religion. And they don't want us healed. And that same religion started hospitals and the doctors. And On and on and on.
It's all tied together.
Yeah.
You know,
And
it's
Gene's
wild.
talking about all the artifacts and stuff they found in the Grand Canyon. And
Yeah.
that's kind of
Oh,
ties
Mhm.
into what you were talking about, what you found in around you.
Yeah. Thank you, Gene.
oh,
I was going to bring that up. Yeah. The Grand
oh, yeah.
Canyon, all the Egypt artifacts.
Oh, yeah. You
Mhm.
know, J.C. Johnson. Do you remember him?
No,
He
I don't
was
know that name.
Crypto Four Corners. He founder. But him and David Hatcher Childress, they went down there and did expedition in Arizona. In my time, I enhanced a lot of videos for UFOs and Bigfoot images and ghost images. I learned how to enhance, bring stuff out. I even did it for law enforcement for video surveillance. They're trying to figure out what this person looked like or whatever. I could help them. And I thought about it. I was like, if all that stuff is in the Grand Canyon, I know, quote unquote, I know those peoples, history wise. I'm Mayan Indian myself, and I know my histories with all the different tribes and whatnot. They like to draw on the walls a lot,
Mhm.
especially in them old days,
Right.
So I was thinking, I wonder if there's stuff on the walls that we haven't seen or noticed or can tell it's even there because our eyes can't pick it up. It's so, faded or whatever. So I started going through, because what have I been finding here, I did the same thing and there was stuff there. I was like, holy shit, there's a whole wall of hieroglyphs you couldn't see until I enhanced it.
Wow.
So I just went on Google and started looking up real epic shots of the Grand Canyon people have taken, and photography. Nothing to do with archaeology or nothing. I enhanced them, and sure enough, all over the damn place, there's all these different petroglyphs and not cave paintings, but paintings of, just whole like frescoes and whatnot. It's just like when you don't enhance it, it just looks like stains on a canyon wall. It's wild. So yeah, there's
Wow.
so much history that is here, and it's turning out to be the complete opposite. This brings me back to this thing. All right, do you remember? I think it was the '60s. The head of the CIA said that when everybody in the world believes the complete opposite of the truth, their job is done.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's quite a
Mhm.
statement.
oh boy, so
Mhm.
all the research that I've done and other people have done, not just me, of course, but as a whole, everything's pointing to the complete opposite of the origins of man, where things came from, how Egypt became.
Right.
It's looking more like this was where the Egyptian stuff started and got
Mhm.
taken over there.
Oh,
Yeah,
And
I
there's
heard that.
actual articles,
Mhm.
of they found over, was it 2 million mummies in South America, and a whole bunch of them were shipped to Egypt.
Oh, wow.
You ever hear about Mexican
no.
mummies in Cairo Museum? No, it's all Egyptian. Hmm. And now
Huh.
we're finding I don't know if you heard about the Jaime Maussan, that researcher, journalist in Mexico. They had the government, they had a Congress with
Right.
the
Yeah.
little
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
aliens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they found more. They found even more, and they've done CAT scans. They are not fake. They're not paper mache. They have brains in them still. One of them had 3 eggs in it. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, and there's different versions of it. There's one they call Maria, which was like normal human size, but only had 3 long fingers and 3 long fingers for feet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and the thing is, at first they were finding uh, these stones and different artifacts of the Mayan and other Mesoamerican civilizations, and Egyptian ones too, where they were seeing what we call grays and aliens and stuff, and UFOs in these depictions, which everyone's like, oh, those are dumb, those are fake, no way. And then
Hmm.
we started finding the actual damn ones that posed for the picture. That's nuts. So yeah, but I think that the mud flood phenomena is really important for people to find out because it changes the whole histories of everything and how there was a great fire in every damn city during the 1890s, 1905 or something. Every damn city just caught on fire. And even the most strange thing is stone buildings caught on fire. But if you look at these pictures after these fires, I'm sure there was fire. Don't get me wrong, but it looks like they were bombed. It looks like what's going on over there right now, Hamas and all that shit. It looks like that, but they're saying the fire did it. And in those ancient pictures, it looks like it got demolished. And they had to demolish everything. I think that, like I said earlier, it was a land grab, and like you said, the treasure grab and a technology grab. A technology grab. They got everything they needed. They picked the specific ones they wanted to keep, and they blew the rest up. And got rid of it.
Some of these stone structures from some of these older sites, they look like there was a nuclear reaction or explosion. I mean,
or like it melted.
The ground
like the stones melted.
The buildings and stuff. Some of them look like they have lines on it from some kind of traumatic experience going on.
Yep. Something I can't figure out what happened because it's like a combination of atomic, water, mud floods, petrification, stuff getting turned to stone. Like I don't know if you guys are familiar with the mud fossils.
Mud fossils?
Mud fossils, yeah. Okay, so during this great mud flood, a lot of things petrified, not just this one time, but several times over, it's happened. And over the thousands of years or however many years it's been, the rest of the body of these creatures, humans, giants, animals, have broken apart, and you're left with organs, stone organs, and they're called mud fossils. So you'll get, like I have right here. Let's see right here. Okay, this is a heart. Okay, I don't know if you can see that.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that's a heart.
Hang on, let me bring you up. Let me see if I can do this right.
Oh wow!
Okay, here we go.
There.
Yeah, you can see the fatty tissue and everything still there.
Yep.
Yeah, and I have just lots and lots and lots of this type of stuff here, and lungs and just so much weird stuff. But yeah, it all, like I said, for if you get crushed, I go by. Like, you've heard of the bog bodies? Those bog bodies?
Yes.
Yeah. So kind of same thing, sort of like that, with everything else. And then at some point, the same thing happened. But there's some type of explosion. I forget what it's called, but it causes everything to turn to stone. Just everything, no matter what it was, everything just gets petrified. So I don't know, because if there was a big great flood during these buildings, would have got messed up. I think personally,
right,
a great flood, boom, that knocked down everything. For all these Tartarian style buildings. So I don't think it was maybe the flood only hit certain places. The water only rose so much. Now, or was it all liquefaction and all the mud just came tumbling down from higher elevations and kind of just went over all those buildings, up to their up to their waists, and everybody had to dig it out. Which that's like one of the pictures that I sent you shows, them excavating what looks like their city. Looks like it got covered in a big old pile of mud.
Should we bring some of those pictures up?
Sure.
Yeah, I've looked at so many pictures of Tartaria and these buildings, underneath buildings, and finding cities. It's amazing.
The White House.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
Yep. So the White House right there, yeah, it definitely goes way lower than they think. And that, if people remember, they supposedly rebuilt it, and it had burned away, from whatever a civil war was going on. But if you look, that all has been there for way longer, and we don't even know how deep that really does go. And like you said, they add stairs at the second level, and right here we're looking at a lot more than 2 levels.
Oh,
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
so that's the thing with what's really coming into question for me is the timeline scale. Oh, here again, just like this. There's
Yep.
no reason anybody in the 1800s would build, or 1700s would build something on that level and then bury it on purpose.
Yeah, because a lot of, like you were talking about, a lot of civilizations are built on top of other civilizations. So, I mean, how many times have we had a reset or a mud flood or some kind of disaster happen?
Right. Well, from what a lot of the different ancient civilizations have said, is that we're in the 5th lifetime. It's happened 5 times now, and it's going to be the 6th. The next cataclysm will be number 6, which will start a whole another lifetime. But then you got people saying, "Oh, it's the Earth's going to go weep like that. That's what causes it." I don't know about that one, but yeah, like right here, you can see they are
Which one you want?
digging. Oh, either one's fine.
Okay.
They're doing the same thing. They are excavating their town.
And there's
And
tons of these photos out there. If
oh
people
yeah,
do want to search, they can search Tartaria, mud flood. Some of them are getting kind of hard to find, but they are still
yeah,
out there.
yep.
Is
So
this
you
like,
gotta. Go ahead.
just like the ones where you were showing where the pyramids and stuff and the plateaus were all covered, and then they had to actually dig them out to actually show them.
Yeah. Well, see, at this point, if you're looking at this one right here, the one on top, okay, it cracks me up because throughout the Americas, okay, you have archaeologists saying that these are just mounds, dirt mounds. They were the mound builders. And it's like, no, there's stuff underneath that. That's the mud flood. Like if you look at all the different pyramids that we found, at first they're covered in mud and jungle and trees. And they look like mounds. Just like what I found out here where I'm at, it looks like a damn mountain, mountain range,
Right.
But until you sweep off that dirt, do you really see the actual, buildings that are there? So it just tells me that they're still saying today that these mounds in the Americas are just dirt piles, that these individuals are just good at building, squishing dirt up, in different shapes. And it's like, come on, man, they really think we're that stupid? That hurts.
Right.
Jeez Louise, Yeah, and the crazy thing is it's not archaeologists, it's not anybody with a degree that has found the majority of all the ancient discoveries that have been hidden from us. The majority of the time, it's miners and people just digging for precious stones and gold and silver, and they don't give a crap most of the time what's there, and they just don't report it anymore, because if you report these ancient discoveries, you got to stop all work, and a lot of these things are just too worth money. Oh my God, look at that. Come on.
Yeah, they
course,
really
yeah.
made those in a short period of time. That's baloney. And to tear them down, some of these afterwards, that's so
Oh,
sad.
mind-boggling.
Yes.
Mind-boggling, the stuff that we had here. What's really interesting, okay, if everything is backwards, okay? Now, they're saying at these world fairs that all these different world wonders, because they have they had a Taj Mahal, they had the Eiffel Tower, they had all these different, the Roman, everything set up here, saying that they made it copying the ones that are over in Europe and other places. What if ours were the originals?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Because our versions were even more complex, and we had bigger ones. If you look at the Eiffel Tower, the one they built for to tear down right away, was bigger than the real one, quote unquote real one. I mean, there's so much involved with these buildings that just makes no sense whatsoever. Like you said, they're saying it's all plaster in Paris and just wood, which, if that's so, they would, all the ones that they built back then wouldn't still be, like you said, still standing. Some of them they kept.
And people living in log cabins and shacks and horses, but
Yeah.
these buildings are there mainly for the
Mhm.
World Fair and this and that. I don't. I mean, when I
Oh,
started looking into that, I don't buy it. It's just the
the Chicago Fair
details.
at nighttime. Oh,
Yeah.
holy crap! There, that was lit up. You know,
Well, they
it
didn't.
was.
Tartaria was free energy, and they don't want us to know about all that.
Well,
It
then
wasn't
go
just
check.
crosses on all the buildings. Those crosses were not for religion. It was free energy.
Yep, and we had all the airships too that would connect to them. Go right up to
Yep.
them, the big old
Mhm.
airships. So yeah, and then we had, we already had electric vehicles and scooters,
Right.
and all that stuff was already there. We had, I mean, the train systems, and like I said, the whole tunnel system. You could reach anywhere, any city, all underground. And now they tell us, oh, that was because of alcohol was illegal.
Hmm.
So everybody,
And the
Yeah.
moonshiners.
they illegally
Yeah.
built tunnels everywhere. And it's like, oh,
Mhm.
so like if you go look at these tunnels, they are not crude little just holes dug to pass some beer back and forth. No, these are on grand scales with masonry that is amazing.
Mhm.
That today they can't replicate because it would have been such a huge
Right.
endeavor to create these things. It's like, but people don't question it.
No.
They're like, okay,
And they did
okay.
all the electric scooters and all that fancy stuff just for the World Fairs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm.
Oh yeah. And then then power tools got invented
Yeah.
later.
So how they make all those beautiful details exactly down to the T and just matched up, no mistakes.
Well,
Uh-huh.
they had to have Home Depots, some Lowe's, and Sam's Club,
Yeah.
for the amount of stuff they needed to do all that. What they have? The artisan sitting right there with a chisel and a carver. All right, we need a filigree that's going to be about 25 feet by 75 feet, and it's like, really? Same thing with Australia. The Tartaria is all over Australia too, and they're trying to say that, oh, it was just a bunch of convicts. My wife's from there. Okay, and so I'm really into the history there too. And yeah, the world just, that's all they hear is, oh, it was founded by convicts, and that's who built all the buildings and jails and prisons there. It's
Yep.
like,
Or you hear that,
come
oh,
on.
it was the Masons. The Masons were master builders. They're the ones that built all these beautiful buildings. I'm going, I'm not
Mhm.
buying that either.
They're really good.
Look
Yeah.
at
You
the
know?
buildings over in
I'm sure
Russia.
they
They're still,
had their fingers. They had their fingers dipped in it later. You know what I mean? I think that was
Yep.
a big part of it. The after part. I don't think they had built any of that stuff. And
well, just the
The
buildings in
latest
Russia.
rabbit hole or conspiracy theory that I have. You remember the cartoon Flintstones?
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
how did the Flintstones, as a prehistoric age, have supposedly TVs and radios and cars and all this stuff, garbage disposals and all this things that we would
Mhm.
consider nowadays? And then later on, they have a special where they meet the Jetsons. So how is the Jetsons, who's supposed to be a futuristic race, and a prehistoric race end up at the same time?
Well,
Makes
you
you
got to think about
wonder if
this.
the Earth or wherever the Flintstones was got ruined, and then the higher hierarchy of
Yep.
went up and left
The
those
people on the
behind.
ground. The people on the ground, that was the Flintstones. The people in the clouds were them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another thing about the Flintstones is the dolmens. Okay, dolmens. The megalithic structures called dolmens. Turn out that's the same houses that they were living in the Flintstones. Exact same setups.
Hmm.
And then you got the Flintstones with the dinosaurs at the same time, right? Which is a whole other big thing. But if you start really looking throughout our histories, all of the histories, you've got dinosaurs in everything. They didn't, not till the late 1800s did the word dinosaur get invented. So before that, they were called, giant lizards, dragons, and stuff like that. Have you heard of the Ica stones? ICA stones. They're from
Mm-mm.
Peru. Okay, so
Mm-mm.
these stones were first brought to light, publicly in the late 60s by a doctor. He bought one of these stones from a local that had got him out of his he was plowing his property to plant plants, and he hit a bunch of these stones and pulled them out, and they're I believe they're diorite stones, and on them are carvings, right? And a whole bunch of these carvings show man and dinosaurs together, and man riding dinosaurs. And there's a whole bunch of little clay statues that were found also from that same era of them rocks of dinosaurs. And the thing is, though, at one point the government tried to arrest this dude, okay, because they said that he was selling ancient artifacts, from Incan artifacts.
Yeah.
So to avoid going to prison, they said either admit that they're fake or you're going to prison. So he said, yep, they're fake. Oh yeah, totally fake. And the only problem with that is there's been over 50,000 of them found. In order for him to have drawn all those and cut all those and quarried all the rock and polished rocks in circles, and it'd be impossible, like literally impossible. And the fact that they've now done studies on them, on the what's it called? That super camera that you stick in your nose or your body when the doctors can see all those little tiny things. One of those cameras, they did it on the stones where the cuts are. And there's an amount of patina that grows on rock. Like when you break a rock open, it's not the same color as the outside usually, because it grows a skin, you could say.
Yeah.
So they can tell the difference between something that's been recently made versus something that's thousands of years old. They can tell. And they studied them, and they're real. And the other thing that proved that they were not made up was one of the stones had what we would call a triceratops, okay? But on the stone, it had what looked like tusks coming out of the triceratops' mouth, and another horn down here coming out right here, which isn't on any pictures of any books at all. And this was in the 60s, and 70s that they noticed it, and that was one of the reasons why our paleontologists said that it was fake. They're like, they even got that right. And look at all their dinosaurs; they have their tail in the air. We know the dinosaurs dragged their tails. Well, now it's a whole different story. Now they know dinosaurs didn't drag their tails; they had them in the air. Now they found one specimen that was just good enough of the Triceratops to find out that it had those tusks and that those two other horns. Okay. Then they were talking crap about them too in the 70s, 60s, 80s, that the drawings of the dinosaurs that they had were silly because they had these strange circles on them. They looked almost like polka dots, sort of. It's really weird, strange circles on them, which they're like, oh, that's just for decoration, to look stupid, Well, they finally found the skin of dinosaurs, a few dinosaurs. And on the skin were these big, round, like, I don't know what you call them, knots with a little circle in the middle, too. So they actually did have those.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But nobody talks about them because at one time that guy said, yeah, I made them, they're fake. But they literally have excavated tombs in Peru. These are all found by the Nazca lines, and where those mummies of aliens they come from, where they got all this is in the same little circle, okay, the same area. They find these same stones inside unopened tombs. So what are they saying? That this little old Peruvian dude that's a little 5 foot tall man is sneaking in ancient stones into mummies' sarcophaguses and putting dirt on them. And, come on. So like when you start seeing all these different things, the past was a really amazing place because there's even paintings from what I believe is the times of the Tartarians that shows brontosauruses walking in line when they're having these big like wagon trails to kingdoms for wars and stuff. There's some with actual brontosauruses being ridden. It looks straight up like the Flintstones. That's what I was, like you're saying, the Flintstones, there's a lot there that they shouldn't have known about whatsoever. You know?
Right.
The other thing that I find interesting is you see the pictures of like the Sphinx or the pyramids that were all covered up with sand and dirt. And the people there acted like they didn't even know they were there. So where did that history go, or where did it come from if the people living there, the civilization, didn't even know they were there?
Right.
Yep. Exactly. And that's the thing. You got to remember that the pyramids, there was no hieroglyphics on them. The pyramids, there was no sarcophagus inside the pyramids.
Mm.
The stuff
Right.
they found is outside in different places.
Yeah, Kings Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know what the hell the pyramids were for. They trying to figure it out still, but there was nothing written inside. There's no soot from fire, nothing. And pitch black,
Mm.
And it's really, really just what they say
Yeah,
they
why
used to
isn't
look
there
like.
any burn marks from torches lighting their way through the tunnels or the passageway through?
There's
Yeah.
not even enough oxygen. You can't even go deep into the pyramid because there's no oxygen.
Mm.
Your light will go out.
Yeah, that makes no sense at all.
So it points more to that those pyramids were energy based. They were
Yes.
not for living in. They were for energy, and it looked like they shot energy straight up into the whatever you want to call it, and it went everywhere.
Yeah.
It went everywhere.
And it's
So,
not just in Egypt; they're all over the whole world,
oh, yeah.
underneath the water. It's not just an Egyptian thing. They
Nope.
don't want us to know that there's pyramids in the United States.
Oh, a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, we
yeah.
got Cahokia
Definitely.
here. Cahokia here in Illinois, one of the biggest plateau pyramids.
Southern Illinois.
Yep.
Yeah, and then there's a town down there called Cairo.
Yep.
Then
All kinds of
you talk
Egyptian
about
stuff.
what you got going on in your area. That's the biggest ones ever found. I mean, my gosh.
Oh, it's insane. Like, a lot of people don't believe me until I start sending them pictures of the stuff I found, and they're just like, what the hell? Because, like, Olmec heads, right? The Olmec heads.
Yeah.
Okay, there's only 14 that were ever found in history, and I believe I found the 15th one. I have a
Wow.
picture of that. Like, right here, watch. I'm gonna send you a picture to your messenger. I know you can't just throw it up or nothing, but just to give you an idea of just one thing. Just one of the things. Do you have access to your messenger at all right now?
Yeah, I might be able to bring it up here in a second.
Okay. Well, it's a pyramidal shaped structure, and it has statues on the top, just statues on the side you can't see in this picture, but one of the things you can see is a statue of a Hindu cow on the side of it. Yeah,
A Hindu cow.
Hindu cow here in New Mexico.
Huh.
Kind of strange. It's like, why the heck would we have that?
How can they cover that up?
You'd be amazed, right?
Well, yeah, they've covered everything else up, and
Yeah, they're good at that. Let's see here. But yeah, I don't have a degree, and that's I'm gonna mainstream archaeology, ancient history, all these fun things are gonna be really, really, like I said, defensive with all the stuff I've found. I have over 9,000 images
oh
I've taken
wow.
of the whole doing expeditions up and down these mountains, going to every ridgeline I can find, and yeah, I have a preponderance of evidence of this ancient civilization, this giant thing we have here, and I can't imagine that nobody's noticed.
Right.
We've got universities here and archaeologists and LIDAR and nobody. It
It's
took
crazy.
took a dude from Gonzo from Breaking Bad to buy a silly camera that has a really good zoom and to find it all out. That's how I found it originally, because I was just trying out my new zoom on my new Galaxy phone, Ultra 23, whatever the hell, and I was able to zoom in on the moon. Like, holy crap, zoom in! Like I could see freaking craters, and I was like, wow. So I lived literally at the base of the mountain, and I was like in my backyard, I was like, man, wouldn't that be cool if all those ridge lines were actually a giant pyramid, and those that's actually all carvings and shit. That'd be so neat. So I got my camera and went zoom, 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 and then I went, oh my god, holy shit, they're covered in carvings. And that's when I couldn't stop looking and going on expeditions. And what about over here? Is that over here? Yep. And then I find more, and then tried just different things and found all kinds of just more and more different civilizations and different styles. I keep on seeing the sun. Okay, there's a sun, obviously round, but the sun rays are always real wavy. Sometimes real far out, but the face is always, there's like several specific faces it makes that they have on this sun. It's across the whole mountain range over and over. One is it blowing, going, one's like that. Another picture shows it like this, and then another version of it is just normal face like this. But everywhere, and then very rarely there's an angry one, making a funny face. But yeah, I have been looking through all the freaking Google trying to find which civilization had that specific sun. But there you go. Yeah. So
wow.
I blurred the background just so you could focus on this hill. I don't know what you want to call it, pyramid hill. But it has statues on the top. I have better pictures, but this is the quickest one I could bring up. But of the whole thing, at the very bottom of it, which you can see, there's a whole row of giant, big statues on the right side, and it's wild.
Golden calf.
Yeah.
That almost reminds me of the golden calf that they made like when Moses.
Right. Yep. That's what I was looking at. Yeah.
And we have here, if you guys look up the Las Lunas Mystery Stone, the New Mexico Las Lunas Mystery Stone. Okay, it's about maybe half an hour from Albuquerque. There's this big stone that's been carved into from a long time ago with what looks like either ancient Hebrew or Phoenician, kind of a combination of the two. And depending on which language you use to decipher it, if you're using the ancient Hebrew, it deciphers into the Ten Commandments. If you go through the other version, the other language, it actually tells a story of the person that did it coming and showing up and doing it. So isn't that wild?
Nice building right on top of there.
Yeah.
Huh. I was trying to move it, but I'm not doing very good at that. I better go back.
Well, you're doing great because you're showing the pyramid part. You can see all the carvings and everything on there. Like right there, crazy. right below the corner of the cow picture. If you scroll, you bring it up a little bit or back out just a tad bit. Yeah, right there. You see the black gray deal? That's a beak of a bird of some sort. The grayish, right under the corner of that white corner of the cow picture. Yeah, it's protruding out. But yeah, there's the pictures I have, you guys, are ridiculous. Every day I watch the sky. Okay, I'm gonna send you another picture, brother. I watch the sky to see what lighting I'm gonna have, because every time, like when it rains, anything that's painted on these cliff faces becomes bright if they ever painted on it. If it's cloudy and there's sun rays coming through the clouds, but you can't see the sun, but you'll see a sun ray shining down on the certain side of the mountains. I gotta take pictures because it gives it a whole different lighting, and you can see way more things. What I just sent you right now is a picture of on the last solar eclipse we had. I know that the Mayans and Aztecs and all them, they like to mess with the sun, and I was hoping that I'd have an Indiana Jones moment and see like a ray of light or something pointing out the treasure, you know. And I said, you never know. So I waited, and in the morning, and sure enough, part of the mountain was started glowing, like there was
Oh,
just something brighter about that one spot that normally isn't like that. So I took pictures and everything. So that's the one picture I just sent you.
Okay.
And once you look at it, you'll see that that's not normal. Okay. 4 days after that day, every day I went back to the same spot at the same time to see if it reoccur, if it's just a normal thing.
Hmm.
It never happened again. You don't even see it. Just on that one day on the solar eclipse, it's just glowing. It looks like you ever seen He-Man, that cartoon a long time ago?
yeah.
He-Man,
I
Castle
remember
Grayskull.
He-Man.
It looks like Castle Grayskull. It looks like
Oh,
Skeletor's
wow.
about to walk out of this place. It's craziness. But yeah, there's so many just wild crap that I found. I just found, okay, I'm about to send you a picture later about this one. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Isn't that something?
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? And like I said, this was daytime, but during the solar eclipse had just started and everything kind of dimmed down a little bit, but this one spot just started glowing. I was like, what the hell is that? You know? I haven't gone to it yet. I plan on doing. I don't have a 4x4 research vehicle, a side-by-side, a Razor, or any of that crap. I just have a Cadillac, my motorcycle, you know, and a giant RV right now.
Whatever
So,
it is, it obviously doesn't belong
Right.
with the rest of the terrain, or something's different about it, obviously.
Definitely. And like I said,
Oh,
on a normal
wow.
day, you don't even see it on a normal day. You can't. It just blends right in with the whole mountain range.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm just that's why the mud flood's important to me, because this what I'm just researching here is covered in a layer of mud.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
You know?
This makes you think what's all out there that we don't know about or haven't discovered yet.
So
Right.
much.
Just here in the U.S. and North America.
Oh, this place is more amazing than people realize. But well, the Grand Canyon. Back to the Grand Canyon. Oh, well, how about Sedona, Arizona? Have you seen that?
I've been there.
Yeah, I've heard of
Oh
stuff
my
about
God.
Sedona.
Oh my gosh, the rock formations, those aren't just what's it called, erosion. Hell no.
Right.
Oh, there's some things there. But the Grand Canyon, if you look up the names of all the different places in the Grand Canyon, you know, all of the names are Egyptian names
Oh,
and
I
temples.
didn't know that.
Yeah, for real. And there's actual pyramids that you can see right now that are out there, you know, in the pictures. Yeah, and their names,
Wow.
Egyptian names.
So I
you
suppose
know?
that's coincidence. They're Egyptian names, and they found Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon.
Oh,
Yep.
no, they didn't. No, they didn't. We're not supposed to believe that. No. They
Right?
didn't. They found nothing.
Okay, you guys, trip out on this. Okay, here's something for all you out there too in YouTube land and all that. All right, a while back, you remember that channel, The Onion News, The Onion?
Yeah, right.
It did parody stuff, right? Okay, now just like the Flintstones, I don't think that was by accident. The information they had to make that. Okay, The Onion put out a video one time called was it Congress Classified? Okay, it was a while back, and it's a session of Congress. It's fake.
Really?
It's fake. Okay, and the things that this congressman says, look it up. Just look up Classified Congress, The Onion. Okay, it'll pop up. And the congressman that's talking to Congress, asking them to pass these laws, he's trying to describe, he's reading from the paper what's going on. He goes, and then when the classified are released, because of their immense size and strength, we must classified. And but the thing is, though, the stuff he's talking about, unless you are like deep in that rabbit hole researching wise of giants and everything that we talk about, there's no way in hell that was on accident and where they got that information. And if you hear it, it's a prediction. He's talking about what's going to happen, what's going to be released, and the reforming of the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. So I recommend it's fake though. It's fake. But if you watch it, knowing all the stuff that we know, guys, ooh, you're like, it's fake. It's fake, right? The Onion, yeah, it's the Onion. Okay, it's cool. It's cool. That was just coincidence today. He said all that.
I show a meme on my Facebook and stuff all the time about people who didn't believe are all of a sudden trying to find conspiracy theory friends.
Oh yeah, we're professionals now. Yeah, that one. It's the one that says that feeling, or when you find out that your crazy conspiracy friend had been right the whole time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. It has John Cusack usually is on the and Woody Harrelson.
Yep.
That one. I'm gonna send you that link to the classified thing. It's just please watch it. Oh my god, it's not long or nothing. It's like a minute and a half or something. It's real short, but man, it hits home. If you follow the research into the giants and the Kandahar giant and how our ABC groups, we'll just say that the powers that be that have Bigfoots that have picked them up. We know they've picked them up multiple times for many years. Like with the volcano, the Mount St. Helens incident too.
Right.
Yeah, classified. Yeah, so the conspiracy is that our GOV has been breeding giants. They got the old bones and live ones, and they use that DNA because they want to use them in some sort of a scenario in the future to scare everyone.
Yeah, I mean our friend,
doing whatever they needed.
Our mutual friend, Jessica Jones at Cryptid Huntress, she does that remote viewing on the Kandahar giant, and how the government went there to specifically get the DNA of that giant.
Yep.
Now that's not going to end well. That's. I mean, why would you need DNA of a giant?
But they're telling us giants aren't real and they never existed.
No.
Yeah, no. Even those giant books, giant doors, Indian mounds,
giant weapons.
Yep, Indian mounds that are probably giants.
Giant crowns.
Yeah.
I just sent you the link to that it's a minute and 36 seconds, the clip.
All right.
Crazy. And then you got the star forts that is along with it.
The star forts, yep. That's mind blowing, those things.
Mm-hmm. And they're all over the place.
You don't want me to play this on the show, do you? Just for us to watch later?
Up to you. You can just do the sound of it, or you can play the whole thing. That'd be really cool. Because I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on what he says. Even though it's fake.
I think we'll watch it later and we'll talk to you about it.
Okay. Please do. You'll trip out, man.
Okay.
It's great. But yeah, the whole Giants thing, they're still out there. The biggest, J.C. Johnson, I mentioned him before. So one day, he passed away, unfortunately, a couple years ago. But he reached out to me about 10 years ago and said, "Hey, do you want to be part of a brain trust?" I was like, "Sure, what's up, man?" And he wanted me to do some enhancements too on an image. And he sent me the image, and it's of the Madrid mountain area with you see a bunch of junipers, like on some hills. And these specific trees would be like if you're going towards the mountains, but you're not quite in the mountains, but you're not quite on level ground, and you got them medium-sized trees in between that are sparsely, yeah.
Right.
So that type of tree, these junipers, they grow only to about 10 to 12 feet when they're fully mature. So he sends a picture, and you see that black dot? I was like, Yeah, I see it. What's up, JC? You know, he goes, zoom in. So I zoom in, you know. I was all enhance, right? No, that's good. I just went, and it zooms in, and it looks like there's a gorilla sitting on its haunches on the hillside.
Huh.
The only thing is, the tops of the trees come up to its hip chest area.
Oh,
It's sitting down.
Oh.
oh my gosh.
Oh.
And these trees are on average 10 to 12 feet tall, and it comes up to right below, like the lower rib, sitting down.
Wow.
That'd have to be like King Kong.
Oh man, like minimum double the size of the trees. So we're talking about 20 foot plus something. I ain't gonna say what, I don't know, but I analyzed it. I broke it down. You can see the sagittal crest. You can see the oh damn it, what mid-tarsal break in the foot. The way it's sitting, you can actually see the foot bending
Right.
in that spot. You can see I
Wow.
compared it with actual gorilla sitting in the same position, except for this is the Bigfoot had longer legs, but it'll sit in the same way, and the specular highlights from the sun are reflecting off the same muscle groups and everything.
Mm.
Wow.
You know, so we still got giants here, you know, and then we forget just how big our world, the United States is.
Right.
It is huge. There's so much. Or they say, "Oh, we're running out of room. We're running out of room." Yeah, in the cities,
Right.
Right.
there's so much room still. Like they said, they could fit
Mhm.
the world's population in Texas.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I just watched a video about that where you could take the world population and fit it inside the United States anywhere and still have the rest of the world empty,
Right.
let alone the
You
United
know,
States.
They're just trying to
you
push
know?
everybody to the cities.
Exactly. You know, and they're feeding us all that. You know, they're feeding it all to scare us. It's a bunch of scare tactics, and
Yep.
they prey on our ignorance and stupidity that they have fueled and encouraged, and yeah, it's wild stuff, man. Um, and everything's pointing to, like I said, what everybody said was fantasy seems to be reality, and everything that they
Mhm.
told us was reality has seemed to be bullshit.
Yeah.
Excuse my language,
Right.
but
Mm.
yeah, and it breaks my heart that they've pitted us all against each other, you know. And yeah, it's sad. It really
Yeah.
is. Breaks my heart. Breaks
Let's
Jesus' heart. Man.
Yeah.
we're almost done. Let's bring up your discovery or your theory on that we were talking about
Oh,
earlier.
right,
Oh
right.
yeah.
Okay,
We'll
so
end the show with this.
okay, so do
Is
you
this the
have the
right
other?
slide or you want something different?
There's three of them. We'll do this one last.
Okay.
So we'll start with okay, we'll start with that one. So imagine that little tiny dot at the bottom is the dome, what they're calling the flat Earth. Same setup, but in reality, that's just at the bottom of a larger place. So just that section of land is flat. It doesn't mean the world is flat, or the Earth, or the rest, whatever the hell we're on is flat. It could be round, it could be square. Beats the crap out of me. I don't know. So, but I'm going by all the ancient civilizations, the way they described what we're living in, and the Bible, which talks about the waters above, the waters below, the firmament. Okay, so if you go by the Sumerian history, they said that the reason why God came here and we were made and everything was because of gold mining, that they were gold miners and they came down to mine gold for their realm, the heavens, the heavenly abode. And if we have the technology right now, have you ever seen Bering Strait gold rush? You know
Right.
that we can get gold out of the ocean by scraping the bottom. Okay, if you're dealing with a civilization that's so advanced beyond our minds can even comprehend, they're so advanced in technology, then why couldn't they go to the bottom of their ocean that's way deeper than we ever imagined and just set off a little bloop bomb thingy, whatever you want to call it, that creates a little air bubble and hardens, and you got yourself an underground base, quote unquote, really big one, so they can just mine the crap out of the bottom without having to worry
Right.
about water, and dealing with water. And then they just transport it out of there. We got the water would have to surround us. This whatever we're in, if there's the firmament, it surrounds us all around. It's not just above us. You've got also to think about the all the videos showing that it looks like space might be water. And now NASA's talking about that. If you really dive in deep, they're talking about that space might be liquid. And then we're seeing videos of air bubbles on spacewalks. We're seeing, there's videos out there. You look, search them.
Huh.
They're there. And there's videos of the astronauts posing, and you got in the reflection of their visor a guy in a freaking scuba suit taking the picture. So is that just a tank in Florida? They're taking fake pictures and pretending that they're playing in space, or are they actually on the edge of space in water? I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I'm going by the evidence. The pictures of Earth that they have are all been put together from a million different things, and they admit that they've photoshopped them.
Right.
There's so much that points to I don't trust them no more.
Right.
Everything.
Yeah, you've lied to me this many times. I'm not going to trust you.
Right.
Maybe I don't care what company you're from. But of all the stuff that you're putting forth, that when I test it, doesn't work, and all your evidence comes up made up. Come on now, right?
Which picture do you want next, Jesus?
The mid-size one, same picture but mid-size. So now we're there. It's a little bit larger, so people can get an idea of what we're looking at. That this would be an enclosed system. The sun and the moon are within the realm. Also, why the eclipse is possible, which now they're saying that there's actual other orbiting planetoids, I don't know what you want to call them, that are out there that we can't see. They're on a different spectrum. But this would show like what we're dealing with here. And then you got to bring about the next picture, please, sir. The Great Flood. And it describes the really big one. I didn't know I sent you forward.
Big one?
Yeah, my bad. There you go.
Oh, wow.
It talks about the firmament was opened up and water poured in, and that's what created a lot of the lakes, freshwater lakes, because this water was fresh water. The waters above in the heavens is supposed to be the purest, cleanest, most amazing stuff you could ever imagine. It has healing properties, the whole deal. This is what I'm imagining happened, and then they closed it, and in the Inimu Alish, Sumerian history, they're saying that the Milky Way that we see when we look up is actually where the firmament was opened and got closed back up and healed.
Oh, wow.
So that's like a distortion, you could say, in the glass, whatever you want to call it, that we can see. It's so huge, though. It's mind-boggling. It doesn't make sense. It's not little like this picture. I'm just, doing that for example. But from all the descriptions, this is what happened. Just all this water was just poured, just dropped, pretty much. And
the hole in our ozone. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, you could call it that. And that's how they do it. And the reason why the Nephilim and all the bad dudes, the devil and all them that are stuck here, can't get out is because what if the firmament is, I guess you could say, has a special passcode of vibration, specific resonance that you can only have if you are not evil.
Oh.
Or possess a certain DNA. I don't know. But they can't get out, and they've been fighting to get out for a long time, and they've tried 5 different times, and each time they get to the end where they're going to try to do a whole grand battle again to try to break out of there and take over the heavens. Every time it seems some sort of god of some sort comes and spanks them, and we have to start over again.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That also makes sense, like we were talking earlier, not just a flat earth theory, but they do say that we're not spinning, but the stars and the moon and the planets are spinning inside like a globe.
Yeah,
and
it's
I have
like a
witnessed that
planetarium.
watching stars.
Like a planetarium.
Yes.
Yeah.
A great
And they do
example
spin
is that
around
new,
in a circle.
that new giant sphere in Las Vegas.
Right.
Yes.
Like that. you know? Pretty much. But how easy it would be, like, think about this, guys. What movie was it? Do you remember that movie with Nicolas Cage called The Village?
Yes.
Okay. So just think about that. It only took how many generations to make the group of The Village not know true history? They didn't want their kids to go out to the rest of the world. They wanted to keep them in this area, and they made those monsters. If you go past this area, monsters get you. Stay right here. This is our history. This is the truth. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't take but a couple generations for us to forget completely be wiped away all our histories, our memories, and that's what's part of that like you were describing earlier. The war that it was a world war that they declared on everybody, and they said, okay, we got to get all the history, all the books, anything that's written down that tells what's really going on and what really has been. We got to get rid of it, burn it, hide it, lock that shit up. They can't know, because we're about to tell them a whole different thing.
Get rid of the buildings.
Yeah, the buildings.
Everything. Does anybody remember the space show that had blue whales as elders?
I don't remember that one, but it sounds interesting.
It sounds familiar. That'd fit right into with your water surrounding everything.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And that's another thing, like octopuses and other several animals, they think when that opened up, they came from that ocean into ours. And that's why they don't belong.
They don't belong. They look alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't belong here.
Even their genomes, it's not the same, you know? So even though it sounds, this is one reason I don't mind talking about what I've discovered, because any other archaeologist would be like, oh, I can say nothing. They're going to freak out. It's like, what are they going to do? Say I'm a big old dumb cholo? I don't have a degree? Are they going to, oh, no, I'm not going to be able to play drug dealers and prisoners in movies no more. Oh, no. It's like, come on now.
So you've never had a knock on your door or strange vehicles following you and telling you to knock it off, stop showing your evidence?
I've had lots of vehicles follow me, but I think those are for other reasons. But, the only time I ever been, and that's the thing, I was born in the military, raised in the military, so they know what the hell I'm up to. All the times I've ever seen UFOs and been visited, and I ain't even getting into that yet. But yeah, I've been visited and all that fun stuff, and it's been documented. It's in MUFON books and stuff. But
wow.
Out of all the stuff that I've put out on my channel, which I changed the name of the channel itself to Breaking Discoveries, but Breaking Bigfoot is within it now, because I've had so much different stuff that I'm researching. It kind of like holding me with just saying Breaking Bigfoot now. And this just happened a few days ago, so don't even trip. But yeah, so
we'll make something up for the next show.
Right. So the one time I got contacted was after I had just met with a MUFON investigator about my abductions and my UFO things. And 3 days later, I get a phone call, and it's this man, and he says, "Hi, may I please speak to Jesus Payan?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me. What's up?" He goes, "My name's Guy Carroll. I'm calling from Bigelow Aerospace, and I'm an investigator for them. And we're just wondering down here if possibly the next time they pick you up and take you, if you could go to the propulsion compartment, stare at it real hard, and when you get back, sketch it for us and email it to us." And I was like,
sure.
You take care now. And I hung up, and I was like, this was in 2010. I hadn't heard of Bigelow Space. I hadn't heard of that or anything. Aerospace, company. I thought I knew them all. So I'm like, man, somebody's messing with me. But that's just really strange, because I hadn't told nobody yet about my abductions, really.
Wow.
So that was kind of weird. And then I was like, I'm gonna go look online. That's some bull crap. No way. I hadn't even heard of that place, right? So I look online, and there's a website.
Oh.
Somebody made a fake website. That's what they just screwed with me there. It's a fake website. So I'm going to the website, and I'm like, oh, they're hiring. Oh. They have a contact number. Okay, I'm gonna call this number. I'm calling them. But I'm gonna say, yeah, can I speak to Mr. Guy Carroll? And they're gonna be like, sorry, sir, we don't have nobody like that here, or something. It's like somebody knew about the website. That's what happened. They knew about the website, so they just screwed me. Like, okay. So I call it up, and the lady answers, hello, Big Aerospace. How can I help you? And I'm like, yeah, I was wondering if can you connect me with Guy Carroll? Right? And she goes, one moment, please.
Like,
And
oops.
she puts me on hold. Yeah, I'm like, oh shit, right? And I'm on hold waiting. Do 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 do. Hello,
Good
Guy Carroll. How
elevator
can I
music.
help you? And I'm like, hey, Guy. Yeah, it's Jesus. You just called me. And he was like, you got something for us? And I was like, not exactly, but I was just wondering. Do you guys have hypnotists? I got a lot of missing time y'all might be interested in. He was like, no hypnotists, just scientists here. He goes, if you get anything, let us know, okay? I was like, okay, you take care now.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that was the one time I've ever been reached out to by any of those groups. Yeah. But other than that,
ABC places.
other
Wow.
than that, nobody's ever said anything like, shut up, don't say this, don't say that. Just besides family and friends are like, I think you're crazy.
Mhm.
That's about it. Yeah.
Well, that's a great story. I think we'll end the show on that. I don't know if we can get any better than that story. That's awesome.
Thanks
We'll
for having me,
have to have
guys.
you back, and we'll do what you're
UFOs.
discovering down there in that big expanse of I don't know if it's a civilization city or multiple cities you're talking about, or
It's hard to I don't know what to call it either. It's like,
Right.
is it a mountain range temple? Is it a whole kingdom? I still haven't figured that one out yet. So we'll figure it out.
Wow.
we'll get into that and some other stuff when you come back the next time. This is going to be awesome.
Sounds good.
So
Definitely.
don't go anywhere. We'll just end the show here with all of us on screen, and we'll talk to you when we get done. And thanks everybody for coming tonight. Jesus, whatever you want to pronounce his name, has been just awesome tonight. I just love this conversation, all the rabbit holes, conspiracy theories that you can go down. So you got to keep your minds open.
Yes.
Mhm.
Look out, keep looking up.
Do your own research. Use your own critical thinking. Raise your vibrations.
Yep.
And we'll see you guys Wednesday night, 11 Central, for our Night Owl Lounge when we hang out with the chat.
Thank you. Thanks
We love
everybody
you
for having me
guys.
here. Good
Do
times.
something nice for somebody and keep looking up. We'll see you next time.
Love you.